If you're familiar at all with the ROM hacking community, you'd know full well that over time there have been some amazing reimaginings of classic video games put together by some incredibly dedicated people. You could even make a fair argument that the very existence of Super Mario Maker as a game was a means of Nintendo seeing an opportunity to potentially cash in on that creative itch that so many people had had over time when it came to ROM hacking new elements into classic games. And while Nintendo undoubtedly did cash in on Super Mario Maker, what truly makes that game great are the levels created by the players themselves. But long before players had any officially released tool to create Mario levels, the ROM hacking community was cranking out entirely new releases of classic Mario games, oftentimes going far above and beyond simple level editing. One such ROM hack like that is simply titled Mario Adventure. This game is a ROM hack of Super Mario Bros. 3, but rather than just getting things like a new overworld map and all new levels, this hack manages to very much feel like an entirely new game. Much of the aesthetic look of both Mario and his enemies is still very much the same, and the control of the game obviously functions in the same manner as Super Mario Bros. 3 always did. But that's about where the similarities end, and just about every change made from there adds something enjoyable to the mix. The biggest of the changes is how players actually progress through the game. The linear progression through 8 worlds to culminate in a final boss battle is largely out the window, giving players the option to play the first 7 worlds of the game in whichever order they'd prefer. Hidden somewhere in each world is a key, of which, when you've found the hidden keys in each of the 7 worlds you can choose from, you can unlock all the doors to the final world. Beating the final stage in one of the first 7 worlds will award you with a clue to the location of the hidden key in that particular world before being sent back to the main world select screen. While this isn't a perfectly executed mechanic by any means, it opens up a need for exploration within every individual level, as well as the need to revisit worlds for the sake of finding all the keys. There's plenty of other great changes from the original Super Mario Bros. 3 as well though, and while many of them seem small, for the most part they blend together in a great way to each be valued parts of a much bigger picture. And without giving at least a quick detail of most of these changes, this wouldn't be much of an informative review of this game, so here's a brief rundown of the most important changes in Mario Adventure. First off, you have unlimited lives. This game is hard and you will die a lot. What used to be the 1-up mushrooms now just award you with an extra 50 coins. Also, coins are now currency in Mario Adventure. You can go to mushroom houses repeatedly if you'd like. It will just cost you 300 coins per visit. You can now store an additional item while in play, very similar to the item box that was introduced in Super Mario World, with the ability to instantly switch between the two simply by pressing the select button. The Karibo shoe is now an item you can acquire for your overworld screen inventory. You can also take the shoe off and put it back on during play by pressing up and B simultaneously. Fire flowers now have Mario shooting fireballs straight ahead in the air rather than bouncing on the ground. The fire flower also enables Mario to jump higher than he normally would. And lastly, the Koopa Kids now take 5 hits to kill rather than just 3. There's also now a weather element that's in place for outdoor levels that will randomly generate either a day, nighttime, rain, or snow element into levels. However, this is one mechanic that, while kind of neat to see at first, feels a little bit unnecessary and forced in there after not too long of playing this game. But really, to me, that's the only major change that doesn't seem to really work well. A couple other major changes made are with entirely new power-ups, with the coolest of them in my book being the Magic Mario suit. This essentially takes place of the Hammer Brothers suit, giving Mario the ability to shoot magic stars in front of him that do crushing damage to enemies. It also takes 3 hits for Mario to lose this suit too, making it an incredibly valuable power-up. The Tanuki suit has also been replaced in this game with the Invisible suit, which allows Mario to disappear into the background of a stage by pressing down and B rather than just becoming a statue. Really, as far as the standard power-ups go, only Raccoon Mario functions the same way in this game as it did in Super Mario Bros. 3, and all of that plays maybe the single biggest role in making this game feel like its own unique experience. With so much work having gone into this whole thing though, you'd think that in a ROM hack there would have to be some drawbacks, right? Well, that actually is right. There's a few things throughout this game that can be mildly frustrating or just seem a bit off, although nothing terribly major. The difficulty of some levels can be absolutely soul-crushing, while other levels right before or after it can be an absolute breeze. Unless you randomly get the snowy weather on a level, then it's going to be difficult either way. Along that same line of level design, there are a few design choices that are puzzling to say the least. Like, what was the point of this hole right here? Also, given the need for exploration to find the 7 keys, it's pretty likely that you'll find yourself accidentally out of the intended boundaries of a stage at least once or twice, of which you can't get back inbounds from. There's some other weird things too that happen with the likes of hidden blocks or munchers under certain level conditions that look definitely out of place. Probably the biggest drawback to me though is that the colors in this game seem much less vibrant and complementary to each other than the original Super Mario Bros. 3. And while I get that much of the point of a ROM hack like this is to change every aspect of the original, I've always felt that this could have been something executed a little bit better in this game. Let's be clear though. Those criticisms are minuscule in the overall scope of how fantastic a game that this truly is. I really do tend to view this more as its own game rather than simply a ROM hack, given how drastic of changes were made to what sets Super Mario 3 apart as its own game. Mario 3 and Mario Adventure have their own vast differences, not unlike how Mario 3 and the original Super Mario Bros. Have their own vast differences. The new power-ups and gameplay mechanics are an absolute blast, and using the clues you get to actually find the keys hidden in each world is a thrill all on its own. The difficulty can be infuriating at times, but what else would one expect from a ROM hack of an NES game? At the end of the day, Mario Adventure is literally one of the most enjoyable gaming experiences I've ever had. And while admittedly plenty of that is due to my love of Super Mario Bros. 3, this game is a brilliant extension of that entire world, and a must-play for fellow fans of Super Mario Bros. 3. So that's it for my review of Mario Adventure. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. This is a review I've wanted to do since day one of my YouTube channel, and it feels pretty good to have finally done it. I really hope you enjoyed it, and again, thanks for watching.